Hello everyone, welcome back. You're watching Empyrion Galactic Survival episode 105. I'm Igneous, and today we're working on the front of the Cetorhinus. We're finishing off some things that we talked about in the past but hadn't gotten around to, and I almost forgot about. I truly almost forgot about these guns here that we're mounting underneath that section that extends out from the front of the ship. Now, these are all the static guns that we're allowed to mount on the ship that I was able to find. And by static, I mean they don't move. They're in a fixed position on the ship. If you want to change the way that the guns are aiming, you have to change the way the ship is aiming in order to make that happen. Now, one of the things you might notice and be concerned about is that the guns are all stacked side by side. They're all clustered together, so if you get a bunch of damage to the same area of the ship, and it happens to be the area where the guns are, you could theoretically lose all of your guns in short order. I acknowledge the risk. It is possible that that could happen. I don't think it's especially likely that it would happen, just because there's only going to be a relatively small opening through which you'll be able to shoot and hit the guns directly, and it'll be a very easy opening to swivel out of the way of harm if it looks like we're going to be taking a bunch of fire in the direction of our guns. So things would have to line up in catastrophic proportions for you to find yourself in a situation, I think, where you lose all of your static guns because you had them all clustered together and they were all accessible to shoot from the front of the ship. Now, the one thing that I'd thought about that might be a little bit on the riskier side is, for example, trying to fight small vessels where they can very easily dodge out of the way of things. It's very, very difficult to hit moving targets with the projectiles in this game, even railguns, as I discovered with our small vessels shooting at drones, because they have a travel time and things don't necessarily always work the way that we expect them to, and we miss a lot. If we find ourselves in a situation where we can't hit a small vessel and he's just kind of parked near the front of our ship and maneuvering with us, probably do a fair bit of damage if they were good. The thing is, in that situation, that's where you stop trying to hit it with static guns and you swivel the ship around so that the turrets can be brought to bear, and then we don't have to worry about it. So that's kind of the solution to the problem that came up in my own mind, and I'm a lot more comfortable with this business of having all of our guns together in this particular situation. So now, I'm basically, for this hull section, I'm just drawing the profile down from where I'm borrowing it from the pod directly above us, pulling it down and then wrapping things around and trying to make the seams all line up nice so that we can get something that looks like it matches everything else. It's not an add-on piece that was obviously done weeks after and when I was in a different frame of mind. And then we can do the little extruded bits, the ribs, like we've been doing in the rest of the ship, and hopefully that'll be enough to have sort of a unified theme going from the front of the ship all the way to the back. So I'll let you watch this last couple of minutes of building this out, because there's not much more to say about it. We're just finishing off the hull, and then we'll do the ribs, and then we'll be moving to the inside of the ship and working on the little area where the gunner's cockpit is going to be located. And here we are inside. This is the interior section where the guns were just placed. In fact, there's a little ramp that we can still go down and probably touch the back of the guns from in here. The thing that I wanted to do, and it's purely aesthetic, it has no tactical value whatsoever, is I wanted to have the cockpit. It's the second cockpit in the ship, and I wanted to have it sort of sitting on this platform that appears to be hovering in space in that room where it is. And the way that I decided to do this was to have this long walkway from the central part of the ship through the neck, so to speak, and into the open area where the cockpit will be. And then we'll set it up with rails and consoles and stuff like that and try and make it look interesting without looking too busy, because the other alternative was to just put a cockpit on the floor in the middle of this room, and that just wasn't really that interesting to me. So I just decided to try something a little bit different. You see, we've got the walkway in place, and now, like I've done throughout the ship, wherever we've got walkways, they're lined with these little beam segments all the way down that will be painted and textured before the whole thing is done, and all of them will be painted and textured the same way. So this walkway, the walkway above that goes to the observation deck upstairs, and the walkway down in the hangar, all of those edge strips will be done in the same way so that they've got sort of this consistent detailing to them, and hopefully it'll look decent. I think it's going to be really, really important for the lighting in this area as well in order to have this look that I'm going for. So we've got a couple of consoles that I picked out that kind of look interesting. They've got like a tactical look to them, so it sort of makes sense that they would be there near the cockpit where you're going to be using all of the different guns from. And we've got the glass rails that I'm so fond of that we're going to be putting all the way around. By the time it's all said and done, hopefully it'll have this really cool sort of sci-fi look to it, this whole gunner's cockpit concept. Otherwise, it'll look like crap and it'll be my fault. So we'll see how it goes. Like I said, next episode we'll focus on smoothing out some of the interior details and getting things ready for painting and texturing, and hopefully it'll just be, you know, a few more episodes and we'll be ready to give you guys a blueprint. So if you want to be notified about the next and future episodes, the easiest way to do that is to subscribe to my channel or follow me on social media. Links for social media are always in the information section below the video. Feel free to leave your comments and feedback. I'll let you watch the last minute or so of this, just finishing off the railing, switching the polarity, and all that other good stuff. Thanks for watching, guys, and take care.